With the Peekaboo card template from hot off the press, you can create a card with a surprise. So here's the template, and here's the kind of card that you can create with this. So let me just show you for a moment. You've got this beautiful card front, and you can decorate these any way you want, but this is the way this one has been done. Nice little window in the center, and here's what's great. When you open this card, it opens up and gives you a surprise. So isn't that great? You've got these nice little side pieces that are cut. There's a V-shaped cut on each side of these side pieces that close together nicely and then open up. Now those side pieces can be covered with paper. This one in particular was stamped on and colored in, so that's a real unique piece, but that can just be done with pattern paper or colored cardstock. And that's what's great about this template. You can use any colored or patterned cardstock or specialty paper. You're just going to trace, cut out, score, and assemble for a uniquely folded Peekaboo card. So I'm going to start by pulling in some of that colored cardstock. I've got this big piece of pink cardstock, and actually before I do that, let me show you the elements of the template right here. So with each template, you're going to get easy to follow instructions and also a picture of the card and how it works. Here you have this shows you where the different pieces are going to be used. So really good instructions of how to put this together. Just follow those instructions, and you're going to cut out a large panel like this. That's the main card panel. You'll be cutting a center panel frame with that window in the center, and you'll be cutting 2 of the flaps. So let's start by pulling in a piece of colored cardstock so I can show you that you can do this on any color cardstock. And the first thing you want to do is trace around those lines that you have that are going around the outside edges. And I'd like to put that right on the corner of that cardstock, so you don't have to actually cut these edges. You just trace around the other edges. Place it right on the edge. I've got my pencil, and you just follow those lines. What's nice about this template and about all of our all of our hot off the press templates is that they tell you which lines are going to be cut lines, which lines you're just going to trace, which are going to be folded. So I've gone through all of those slots around the outer edge so that I can get the outline, but also I'm going to follow these directions. This says here's the fold. So here's the fold of this card base, so I want to make sure that I trace that. This says cut here for center frame. So I'm not going to trace that. That's the center frame. That will be done separately, but I am going to get the fold over here. Make sure that I've got the little window on this side, and I have to remember to get the little window on that side as well. So when I'm done tracing just the main card, it's going to look like this. And then I know, because I've read the template, that I need to cut out around that outer edge, and that these are each going to be fold lines. So I've done that already, and this is the piece when it's done. After I've traced it, I've cut it out. These are the lines that are going to be scored, and I would use a metal-edged ruler and a scoring tool of some sort. I have a bone folder that will work. You can also use the back of X-Acto knife. That will work nicely. You don't want to cut through your paper. You just want to make a little indent in the paper, and that is scoring the paper. So I go along wherever it says to score for a fold, or wherever it says that a fold line is going to be, then you're going to score it. So I've done that. So now my card base has got that, and then you just fold those in. So right along those lines where I scored, I'm going to fold, and it works just like that. So now there's the outer piece of my card. That's the card base. Now going back to the template, there are those other pieces that I need to trace and cut out. I went ahead and did the center panel frame, but I just want to show you that's right here. So that's located in the center of your Peekaboo card template. So you trace right along where it says cut for center frame, it said. Well, you're going to trace it with your pencil and trace that and remove this. Don't cut the template, because you want to use that over and over for many card uses. And then you've got this piece that you can cut out. And you will do the same thing with the flaps up here. So and I've done each of these on different pieces of paper so you can see the differences. So here I traced one of the flaps. I just kind of put it on the corner of my paper, right on those little slots, those little slot lines. I follow those. And I put that right there, and I traced around the flap. I also traced along where it says fold. And then for the other flap, you want two of these. I'm just going to turn that over, place it right here, and I can trace another one to cut out. So I've done that with all of the pieces of this template, and now I have them all here ready to go. So let me push this out of the way briefly. So here is the card base. Here is the center panel frame, and here are two flaps. Now you're seeing double-sided tape that I've stuck on the tab edge of these flaps because they are scored here. They are ready to fold back like so. So you've got one flap like that, and you have this one scored, and it's going to fold back like that. So this is the side that I put that double-sided tape on, because these are going to hook together like that, and that's going to create your peekaboo surprise. It's going to be underneath this center panel frame. So let me show you how we put that together. Set the panel frame away for just a moment. I get back to the main card, and I'm going to show you how to place these. I want these to end up like this. The tabs are actually going to be glued not on the center area, but on the left and right sides here. So the front panel, the two front panels of the card, let me make that clear. The two front panels of the card, what you see here, those are the ones that we're going to tape these onto. So I'm going to remove the double-sided tape from this side, and the instructions tell me, by the way, to glue these about 1/2 or tape these about 1/2 inch down from the top edge. So if I set this right along, okay, I've got my point pointing out to the left, and I've got the edge of this tab is going to be right along the fold line about 1/2 inch down from the top of the card. And you can place it on just like that. That works. Kind of a nice way to make these line up is to take the other one, to fold this over, take the other piece. I'm going to remove that tape. I am going to align the top edge and the bottom edge of this piece, you can even hook it together there, with the other one. I want to make sure that it's even with that other piece, and then I bring this back until it is even with the fold. So I've got that right along the fold, the tab is right along the fold, and the top and bottom edges of this flap is even with the other one. And then if I just close this side, that will stick onto that taped piece, and there we go. We've got our sliding mechanism right there. So we want to put the center panel frame centered over that area, and there is a suggestion right on the template. Let me put this back behind the template so we can see it, where it shows foam tape, and it shows where you want to put the foam tape on that center panel. They show it right down here close to the bottom, and it's a 1/4 inch wide double layer of foam tape, 1/4 inch wide double layer of foam tape right up at the top, and that's so that it won't interfere with those flaps. And it does tell you this in the instructions exactly how to do that. So on the back of this panel I have the double layer. You can see just one layer stacked on top of another of foam tape. That makes it thick enough so that it does not interfere with those flaps. Keep it close to the top here, close to the bottom here, and it won't interfere with the window. And then I'm just going to place that centered on your card base, on that main card, even with the top, even with the bottom, and centered on the card. Now, I make sure that I take enough time that I'm getting everything even, but really that's all that's necessary. And then I just slide these two pieces in and out, just like so, and you've got a card piece. Now, before I put all of these pieces together, I would decorate back there. You can use another piece of cardstock, maybe do some stamping, add some dazzles, just like this. So you want to put paper on your card, you can add paper before it's all assembled, and then you just open that up And there you go. In this case, a piece of patterned paper was placed behind that opening before we put this center panel in place. There's some stamping done, and the flaps were stamped too. So that's just a really unique use of that peekaboo card. Here's one other idea, using dazzles. And so some of these dazzles have been back. There's patterned paper covering each of those flaps. When you open it, surprise, a beautiful dazzle back there that's been backed with lots of different kinds of specialty papers. And you can see that beautiful look when you open and close. It's just such a lovely surprise. What a unique look. What a neat way of creating really unique cards. And you can do that over and over on any colored cardstock or specialty paper or pattern paper that you want. It's the Peekaboo card template from hot off the press.